There's not a lot I won't sit through for Cate Blanchett, so here we are. As a disclaimer, this review has spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film and you don't want it to be ruined, get out of here, scamp. So yes, today I am reviewing the film Nightmare Alley. This is a fairly recent release with a very solid A-list cast behind it. But why would the lesbians be interested in this film, I hear you ask? Well, not only does this film star Cate Blanchett, it also stars Rooney Mara. And since this film is set in the 1940s, it's not too far removed visually from the film Carol. In fact, parts of this film literally look like a sequel to Carol. And this means quite a few sapphics have inevitably shown up to the party. In fact, in Nightmare Alley, Cate Blanchett may as well be playing Carol Aird because they look almost identical. Of course, this film is not actually a sequel to Carol, nor is it any way lesbian outside of the lesbian energy that Cate Blanchett naturally exudes. However, if you are in any way a fan of the film Carol, or of Cate Blanchett, I would say this film is worth watching anyway, if only for the brief Rooney and Cate crumbs that this film throws upon the floor for the sapphics to lick up. So Nightmare Alley is set in 1940s New York, where, down on his luck, Stanton Carlyle endears himself to a clairvoyant and her mentalist husband at a travelling carnival. Using newly acquired knowledge, Carlyle crafts a golden ticket to success by swindling the elite and wealthy. Hoping for a big score, he soon hatches a scheme to con a dangerous tycoon with help from a mysterious psychiatrist, who might just be his most formidable opponent yet. Nightmare Alley is also based upon the 1946 novel of the same name. Okay, so to be honest with you, this film is pretty airtight, simply because it has such talent driving it, both behind and in front of the camera. For the first hour of the film, I found it was dragging its knuckles a bit, and it doesn't really get going until about halfway through. Coincidentally, Cate Blanchett doesn't appear in this film until the halfway mark, so make of that what you will. When Cate Blanchett's character, Dr. Lilith Ritter, is introduced, the film just completely picks up. Blanchett plays complex and dark so incredibly well. I mean, it's unreal. And holy smokes, she looks like a dream in this film. I mean, she just looks absolutely flawless and ethereal. And if Dr. Lilith was my psychiatrist, I don't know if I'd be better or worse off for it. Good lord. So the brief moments when Cate and Rooney are on screen together, I was just exploding with excitement. I mean, I literally gasped. I still think it's too good to be true that the film Carol exists in the first place, so seeing these two together again just brought it all flooding back to me. We really do only get crumbs of these two together on screen, but it's still incredible, and they even make eye contact. It's also funny when Molly gets angry at Stan for coming down on Lilith. She's protecting her woman, you know? Okay, that's just my own interpretation, but still. There's also a bit in this film where Molly calls Lilith a frozen-faced bitch. And as far as I'm concerned, that was just a setup for an enemies to lovers arc, you know? We love to see it. Overall, I feel the film captures the essence of the 1940s incredibly well. I mean, at times it felt like I was watching an actual vintage piece of cinema. Not because of the mise-en-scene, but because the actors understood the assignment so well. Del Toro is a very tidy filmmaker with an often unique vision. So from what I've seen of his work, it's very hard to criticize any aspect of his filmmaking because he's so good at what he does and he pays such attention to detail. That's not to say he's never made a bad film, I've just never seen one. And Nightmare Alley is true to his trademark gritty and raw artistic stamp. As I say though, the first half of this film, whilst not necessarily bad, to me felt quite stale and more along the lines of a regurgitated period piece which didn't really have anything new to offer. However, as soon as Lilith came into the picture, things just took off on so many levels. And I think it's because she's so fascinating and she propels the storyline to a very exciting place. I will say I also knew Stan's fate from quite early on in this film. I mean, as soon as he sat down for that chat with Clem over dinner, and Clem was explaining how he kind of roped broken men into his carnival act, I knew Stan would end up as one of those broken men in that exact position. Yeah, I mean, I saw that coming from very early on. I actually think Nightmare Alley is a very interesting piece to deconstruct, and I mean, it seems like there's a multitude of psychological layers to this film. There's definitely running commentary on alcohol consumption and exploitation, but I wouldn't even know where to begin with unpacking this. I also appreciated Willem Dafoe and his acting. For a long time I thought he was called William. Yes, he's just so good at what he does. But like I said, this film has an A-list cast who all understood what their characters were about. To conclude, I think this film is worth watching for a multitude of reasons, but it did take a while to find its footing. You will definitely want to see this film if you are a Cate Blanchett fan. That's all I have to say about that. Okay guys, if you've seen Nightmare Alley, let me know your own thoughts on it down in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe for instant disappointment, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!